What's going on, everybody? This is Over the Ropes. I'm Tyler.
I'm Cortland, and we're just coming off of Backlash 2025.
That's right, St. Louis. And what a quick pay-per-view that was, huh? In and
That
out.
cruise by, especially the first three matches, just
Mm-hmm.
I think the show dragged a little bit at the end, but we'll
Yeah.
talk about that. We'll get into it.
Yeah. You know, I don't. I think the negative aspects of WWE booking right now is extremely overstated, especially from people like Sean Ross Sapp, Fightful, obviously Meltzer and them. But I will say that this five match card, 2.5 hour show is a little ridiculous. Now don't get me wrong, AEW's 4 hour shows or 6 hour shows with 12 matches is also ridiculous. But there's nothing wrong with having 6, 7 matches on a 3 hour show. You get more people on pay per views. You get less of the people questioning the way you're booking the women, the tag teams, different minorities. You're setting.
I like seven.
Yeah, yeah.
Seven's my sweet spot.
Seven's a sweet spot, and then 10 for one of the bigger pay per views.
Major shows.
Yeah. And they're shooting themselves in the foot when it comes to these 5 match, 2 hour, 2.5 hour, 2 hours and 45 minute shows. I thought the show was decent. I follow a streamer, and he essentially was like, "Oh, I'll put a grade." And it was A through F, and I picked B, and it was the majority of the people picked B. It was definitely not an A pay per view.
No.
I feel like anything below a C would have been just dishonest. So I feel like it really came down to a B C level show.
Yep.
I think the big selling point of this is probably the last time Orton and Cena have a match. Was a good selling point. I think you could tell that they both felt that way.
Yep.
I'm not sure how the match came off. We'll get more into it, but there's definitely ups and downs of that match. I thought overall, 3 of the 4 matches were excellent. I thought one was okay, and I thought one was dog shit. So, what's your overall thoughts on the show?
Yeah, I think that B to B minus is probably fair. Nothing blew the roof off. I think it started strong.
Yes.
What's funny is I watched the first 3 matches last night because that's all I had time for.
Right.
And all right, I'm gonna hit it fresh. I'll hit these last 2 matches today. And like I said, I think it slowed down a bit. Nothing strong enough to crawl into that A, but nothing bad enough to really poo-poo it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say we just get right into it though.
Yeah,
let's
get
cook.
right into it. So match started with the Fatal 4-Way. LA Knight, yeah. Drew McIntyre, Damien Priest, and Jacob Fatu. I like how they just split off instantly into the rivalries.
The rivalries. Yeah.
Priest and Drew, and then Fatu and LA Knight. I thought this match was written out well. I thought that there were some really good spots. There was a point where Drew hits the Terminator sit-up belly suplex on Jacob into LA Knight. Jacob immediately stands up and takes Drew out with the hip attack. Hits Priest with the suicide dive, then hits a swanton on Drew. They were just lighting each other up.
He's running around like a cruiserweight.
Right.
That dude's a bulldozer.
Yeah.
He got through all of those moves so fast. I could not believe how electric he looked.
Yeah, no, it was the match was excellent. So I'll address how the match ends, and then we'll talk about the match overall. But Priest and McIntyre fighting through the crowd, which I'm not always a fan of, but they end up getting up on a stage. Drew looks like he's gonna hit the South of Heaven on Drew looks like he's gonna hit Priest with something. Priest reverses it into the South of Heaven through a production box, takes them both out. And then so it's just Knight and Jacob fighting. Solo comes in, takes Jacob off the announce table. LA Knight chases him and just gets clotheslined out of nowhere. Camera pans to the crowd. It's Jeff Cobb. Beast.
Unreal.
Beast. Cobb comes in, destroys LA Knight, tosses him into the ring. Fatu, you could tell, is confused as shit. Doesn't know what is going on. Solo's like, go ahead. Get your win. Yep. So Fatu comes in. Corner hip attack, moonsault, 1, 2, 3. Jacob Fatu, still your U.S. champion. And Jeff Cobb, never working for this company, moves straight to SmackDown. No NXT, no anything. How do you feel?
He's a beast. I think he'll be fine. And it looks like he's right into this Bloodline story, so they'll probably work him in with some tag matches, it looks like, you'd have to assume. I mean, the dude's an absolute machine. I think he'll be totally fine. He gives me, like, Samoa Joe vibes in sort of a way.
Yep.
This guy's just an absolute Terminator. He was one of my favorite guys to watch outside of the WWE, so I'm super jazzed that this is where he chose to come.
Yeah.
Not who we expected. I know a few of us discussed Hikuleo. I can't remember if I brought that up on the preview or not. But, you had a feeling that they had an ace in the pocket. And they did.
Especially how Solo kept being like, everybody's injured. Like, we don't have anybody. Like, what are we going to do? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I thought the match was good. Seeing Jeff Cobb is great. We've all been told for a while now that Hikuleo's been signed. There's not been any confirmation of that. But that is what we're under the impression. AOP, before they joined with Cross, they were signed for like a year or some craziness.
Really?
Something like that. They had been signed for close to a year. And they just didn't want to bring them in until they had like something to actually do with them. So like maybe this could be the catalyst where Jacob's like, okay, well, Solo's bringing in somebody who's clearly going to be loyal to him. I'm going to bring in somebody, brings in Hikuleo, and then once the Tongans are healthy, then that will be the okay, who do the Tongans join? Who's actually the bloodline? And
there's so many pieces here.
Oh my god. But it's good storytelling,
It is, it's fun.
Yeah.
It's crazy how long this Bloodline story has gone and how it's kind of shifted away from Jay and Roman now. It's kind of on to these guys.
Yeah, and I'm assuming by the time we get there, we'll get Solo and Jacob at SummerSlam.
Yep, I would suspect so.
I never thought WrestleMania, I know I think you were under the impression that's where it was going, but it felt like Triple H, he's so slow with these stories that I was like, no, it's not going to be until SummerSlam, next year's WrestleMania. Jeff Cobb's a beast. I'm not going to pretend I've watched a lot of him, but what I've seen, like you said, Samoa Joe's a good one. Kind of Rusev-esque.
Yeah.
Man, no, this was a good match. It was a great way to start the show.
The pace was great. There was always something going on. And they had that spot in the middle. I call it late 2000s, early 2010s, 8-man tag where everyone got their finisher.
Yep.
I kind of love that kind of action, and it ended with the Claymore into Priest, who fell into a pin. I absolutely love that. I was so fired up.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed this match. Glad Jacob retained.
No, it was a really good match. Everybody had their time to shine. I like the storytelling where, like, Drew was rightfully pissed off because he won the number one contender match. So he's like, wait, what the hell are we doing? What is this? Like, I'm getting screwed again. And again, the best heels, they're not wrong. Drew's not, I mean, he's a wine bag, but most of the things he says is right.
He's a wine bag.
But yeah, great match. Great to see Jeff Cobb. Who do you think's next for Solo? Because we got, Money in the Bank. We got, besides Saturday night's main event, we got Money in the Bank next. And then they announced during the show, at the end of June, we have Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia.
Right, yeah. I saw that and I was like, man, did I miss a whole pay-per-view or is this a new announcement?
No, it was a new announcement.
Did you mean next for Jacob or do you actually mean Solo?
Jacob, sorry. Jacob.
No, it's all good. God, I don't know who's on SmackDown that's kind of free. I think Alistair would be cool, but I don't want him to lose at all, ever.
Right.
Andrade's tied up in a story. We've gone through these guys a ton of times. I can't think of anyone who's free right now.
I wonder, because he didn't get pinned, if it's Priest.
Write that out a bit. I mean, Drew still got a gripe, too.
That's true.
He got screwed again by Priest in this one. I don't know if we went over this part, but Drew had the match won. Refs coming down for that third count.
Yeah.
And Priest yanked him out. So Drew does still have a legitimate gripe here. Yeah. And I love how they pointed out that feud is 14 months in the making so far.
Yeah, but knowing the way Drew works, like him and Priest will definitely have some more going at it. But I could see them splitting these two rivalries up and Drew blaming LA Knight for him taking the pin. And then Priest and Fatu. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Because, Fatu didn't pin Priest. So, Priest can be like, hey, you haven't beat me, dude. And just as sporadic as Drew is, even though he has plenty of gripes still with Priest, I could see him blaming LA Knight for taking the pin and losing. And, them breaking these feuds off into two separate feuds. So
I was thinking about this during the match, and I know we've been talking about the draft, and I was like, man, I kind of want the draft ASAP, and whatever happens, I want Jay and Drew on the same show. I just, it's so hard for me to watch Drew McIntyre and not think world champion. I want him to beat Jay so bad. I really do.
Yeah, Drew should be the one to beat Jay.
That dude just has champion written all over him, man, and I feel like he's worked so hard for that company. He's just so damn good at everything.
Or
I'm very ready for him to cash in.
Or he doesn't all this year. Cody takes the belt off Cena, and then Drew takes it off Cody at Mania next year.
I'd be down with that.
Right. But yeah,
I just want that man holding gold.
It's hard because it's I agree with you, and I kind of felt like that was probably who was going to take the belt off Jay, especially with their feelings towards each other.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense.
But now we have this Seth thing, and that muddies it all up, So.
Yeah. But they've had such a great feud, too, Seth and Drew. There's just so many interwoven stories, and that's what I love about this.
Yep.
So after this, we move to the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I don't know about you. I thought this was a banger, man. I actually really, really, really like this match. I watched this match twice.
Great match.
So I came home. I rewinded as far back as Peacock would let me. I shot you a text. I'm like, hey, what match is this? You shot me an answer. So I'm like, cool, I only missed one match. So I kind of had it in the background while I was taking all my stuff off and getting cozy. And then I watched it again a little bit later. Absolutely awesome stuff here. I feel like Lyra's come a long way character-wise. And, people actually, sang along with her song, which is good. It showed that people are starting to care. I think this feud was exactly what she needed. Really strong match, a lot of really good counters. I feel like Becky went for almost a half dozen manhandle slams. And a ton of reversals throughout. Lyra's, I love that leg drop from the top, man. That looks so cool. She looked kind of torn, hesitated a bit, finally went for the pin. Becky kicked out. Um, and then let's see, Lyra first out of a disarmer, hits one of her own. Becky switches back into her disarmer. Another manhandle reversal. We got a couple roll ups. At one point, Becky's pretty much just had it. Becky goes outside, grabs a chair. She brings it in. Jessica Carr takes it from her. So while she's dealing with the chair, Becky takes the turnbuckle off. They go to use it a couple times. Lyra goes for the Nightwing. Becky reverses out, hits the manhandle slam. Lyra kicks out again. Lyra kicked out of a couple of big moves in this one.
Yep.
Becky goes to use that exposed turnbuckle. The ref notices. So the ref is worried about that, and she's trying to replace it. Lyra hits another Nightwing. And Jessica Carr's a little late for the pin, giving Becky a chance to kick out. Finally, Lyra goes for another Nightwing. Becky reverses out again for the manhandle slam. Becky rolls through. No, Lyra rolls through. Becky kicks out. And then she goes to poke Lyra in the eye, and she smoked her in the face.
Yeah.
Lyra gets the roll up, but man, she was fucked up. Becky attacks her immediately after the match, so Lyra wins with that roll up, but Becky just beats her down immediately, locks in the disarmor. A bunch of the producers and such come down trying to stop her. So Lyra wins, Lyra retains. That's a huge win for Lyra.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to move the title on to Becky for a little bit here. But they keep it on Lyra, but it looks like she might have had a broken nose, which Cole mentioned several times, and it definitely looked like it. Definitely jacked up at the least because she was focused on her face that whole time there at the end of the match.
Yeah.
What'd you think?
No, I thought it was a great match. This is exactly what Lyra needed for her title run and the character.
Yep.
I think they need to stick with the flow of this, and Lyra needs to finish this rivalry as champion. That will do wonders for her character. That will do wonders for her title reign. It will do great for whoever takes the belt off her. We talked about this before, but this is clearly turning into Becky versus Bayley. That doesn't need a title, at least right off the bat. And frankly, the more stories and intense rivalries that they can build with the women without having a title be involved, the better for that division. And these are two former world... we talk about this with the men where it's like, okay, well, like, it's two former world champions. They don't need the Intercontinental title or the U.S. title. I feel like we're in the same spot with the women where it's like, would I like to see both of them with a mid-card title at some point just to, like, bring that, like, the legacy of that championship up? Of course, but not in this spot.
I do agree, but I thought Becky might have taken it just for a little chunk and maybe have Bayley screw her, Lyra wins it back. That was kind of what I was envisioning.
Right.
Just to get Becky that reign, but
I think this is a good time to say 100% right here. Hundo.
100% full of shit.
Hundo in the predictions.
Yeah, Tyler hit a clean sweep.
Baby!
Tyler hit the clean sweep.
There's a point where Becky's yelling at Lyra's poor boyfriend. And
That was funny.
She just got this dude ruthlessly roasted on the internet.
Yeah, that poor guy's having a rough day on Twitter.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess, like, hey, pump up for Lyra's self-esteem because, boy, people are like, she is out of this dude's league. But leave that guy alone, okay? Jesus. I thought the match was great. I thought it was fun. Maybe the best match on the card. Maybe.
It was really, really good.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what they. I mean, I bet they have another match at some point. Uh, then hopefully, you know, Lyra sneaks out another win. Then Becky moves on to Money in the Bank, and then maybe that's where Bailey screws her or something like that, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
But like, I'm excited to see Bailey and Becky, just because they're both great. And yeah, no, match is great. I'm so happy Lyra won. They need to shoot this off. Who obviously, you know, we've talked off and on about the brand split, so that takes, you know, who knows where that goes from there. But who would you have Lyra lose the belt to?
Oh man. Well, my front runner for that got voted off the island. I really thought it was going to be Dakota Kai.
Right.
Man, I'm so bad at remembering who's on the roster without looking. Who is on Raw? No, of course, this is not organized at all. Oh man, you know who we haven't seen in forever?
Who's that?
Asuka.
True.
Interesting note. Guess who's on the Raw Women's roster right now? If you look online,
Who's that?
Julia.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
They have her on. That's awesome.
Roxanne too, I'm assuming.
Yeah, and Stephanie. Wow.
Oh, and Stephanie.
Yep.
Wow.
I don't know. None of these names are really. Did Zoe Stark really survive the cuts? Yeah, she did, didn't she?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like there's something there, but maybe it's passed by. I would love to see Natalya get a storyline. I would love to see her run with this.
Yeah.
Man, I would. Yeah, I'm glad I clicked on this. Natalya gets my vote. I would love to see Natalya get a title run.
Honestly, I was gonna say one of the first two names you mentioned, Julia or Roxanne. Have them take the belt off Lyra. I mean, Natty could like take the belt off of them because I think she would do good in a babyface role. You know, the IC title of Bret Hart, the IC title Owen Hart, like that's so synonymous with her last name that I could see a story of like trying to get it off the chase. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So to me, I think that really established Julia or Roxanne being able to come up and instantly win this mid-card title. First heel to do it essentially. So
out of those two, I'd probably go Roxanne. I just feel like I want to see Julia. I mean, I like Julia more, but I feel like I don't know. I guess Julia is pretty heelish at this point.
Yeah, I would pick Julia just because I know that they probably have a lot more in plan for Roxanne. So I might just give this one to Julia. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But no. Well, I guess we'll see what happens next. But I'm sure we'll get a rematch, and hopefully Lyra can get out of that. Then we got Dominic Dirty Dom Guerrero versus Penta for the men's Intercontinental Championship. Again, another excellent match. Dom surprisingly held his own really well in this match.
Dom looked awesome.
Yeah.
For real.
I think we forget sometimes because of his character and like just how down people were on him at the end of him and Ray, just how good he was from the very beginning and how he's probably just gotten so much better, even though we haven't gotten to see that, haven't been able to see it. Judgment Day comes out with him, but they all go to the back because you knew damn well they were going to come out later. Match was awesome. Dom hits an Oblivion, which I popped big time for.
Yep. And then what did Wade Barrett say? He called Liv his. No,
he called Dom her something. Yeah. I don't remember what it was, but
it was gross.
Barrett had me cracking up.
Yeah.
Carlito makes his way to ringside just to distract the ref as Finn and JD jump the barricade from the other side. JD has Penta And Finn's like, oh, hold on. He starts milking it, goes to get a chair.
Let me get a chair.
Yeah. Then the ref sees him without them even actually touching Penta, kicks the ball out, or tries to kick them out. But Penta does a diving, jumps over the top rope, takes out Carlito and JD, not Finn. Then Finn jumps up to distract the ref as Chad Gable jumps in, headbutts Penta with the El Grande Americano mask, probably the metal piece. Dom hits the frog splash, 1, 2, 3, and El Grande Americano's just posing on the outside of the ring while all this is going down. I'm pretty sure. Listen, I don't like to toot my own horn or anything, but I feel like I called this as exactly how this match was going to go.
100% how it was going to go.
Yep.
And so I was thinking the opposite. I thought Finn, and when Finn had the chair, I was, yes, it's going to happen. I haven't seen El Grande and Finn's out there. I thought Finn was going to screw Dom, but no, it went the other way. Stupid Gable in a stupid loaded mask. And he did, because I don't know if you noticed, but outside of the ring, he did one of these, he had the piece.
Yeah.
Super solid match. Dom with the move of the night, probably one of the most viral moments of the night. I would say the most viral moment. That suicide dive DDT.
Oh, yeah.
I had 7 different people send that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm talking people who don't even really watch wrestling that much. I got tagged in a bunch of posts on Instagram. This thing went nuts online. Absolutely insane move. And props to Penta, too, because that move takes 2. These guys absolutely rocked. A little surprised Penta's taking this many L's right now, which was one of the only reasons I was hesitant to pick Dom, but ultimately you got this one right.
I never have an issue with the loss if it's a story-based. And that's exactly what this is. Clearly, Penta's going to move on to Gable and America Made, probably with his brother, like we kind of talked about, maybe with Vikingo or Dragon Lee or somebody.
Dragon Lee, hopefully.
Hopefully, Dragon Lee.
My man's.
Right. Gets disrespected left and right. I have no idea who could be next for Dom. That's going to be interesting. Maybe
AJ, they already talked about it.
Yeah, AJ, duh, yeah. Which I see Dom coming out of. I kind of like I feel like they're doing the same thing with this that they're doing with Solo and Jacob. I think they stretch this out to SummerSlam.
Finn versus Dom.
Finn and Dom at SummerSlam. It's 2-nighter, first one. And
man, it's still 3 months though.
Right.
That's crazy. Just shy.
And we have at least 2 pay-per-views. We have at least 2 Saturday nights main event. So
damn,
we got a lot of shows to still go, but I feel like they stretch this thing out and we get Dom and Finn at SummerSlam. So
all right.
Yep.
After this one, we go to the only non-title match of the evening. We've got Gunther versus Pat McAfee in a Michael Cole on a pole match. Just kidding. I just threw that part in there.
Yeah.
So Tyler was not a big fan of this match.
Hated everything about this match, but I want you to talk your positives first. So.
Yeah. A bit of a chop fest in this one. Pat gets some of his in, but man, for every 3 or 4 chops he hit, Gunther just absolutely leveled him. Cole ends up at right up ringside, pleading with Gunther to just end the match, begging Pat to tap out at one point. Gunther ends up pulling him up into the ring. He's about to powerbomb when McAfee swoops in and breaks it up with the big boot. Gunther goes for a suplex pretty close to the ropes. Cole sweeps the leg. Looked like Pat had a chance there for a second. Well, Cole held the leg, but Gunther kicked out. Gunther's focused on Cole again. McAfee leaps on his back, locks in a sleeper hold for a bit, but Gunther transitions and just absolutely levels McAfee. with a lariat, and then he locks in the sleeper hold on his own. And McAfee hung in there for a bit, but it wasn't meant to be. He passes out. Maybe went a little long, in my opinion. I feel like McAfee looked a little more winded than we've seen some of his other matches. But this is a longer match. This is a big cat to square off against. Definitely slowed the pace down for the evening. I feel like we had a lot of go, go, go. And especially with a Dom and Penta match where there's just a lot of high pace. This match was really slow. Really dragged some things out. I think the saving grace for me was going to be Goldberg kind of interfering or jumping in after, because there was old Gunther and Goldberg thing last year, and I thought this might be where he shows his face. I don't think I disliked it nearly as much as you.
Uh-huh.
It was okay. I was very surprised Gunther, little show of respect after the match to Pat. I thought he was gonna take his head off again or choke Cole out.
Right.
So I don't know where they go from here, but I was a little surprised no one came to bail Pat out.
Yeah, there's not one thing about this match I like. I kind of figured they'd probably do, a bunch of hope spots, have Pat kind of start off hot, doing what he can, and then Gunther beat him at the end. This match was way too competitive. Way too competitive. I like the Cole aspect, and I liked Cole helping McAfee, but not only was it way too competitive, but the end of this match just did not match Gunther's character. I'm sorry, Cole grabs your leg, holds it down for the 2 count, literally physically interfering in this match, and Gunther essentially is like, yeah, it's fine, it's whatever, at least I won. No.
Yeah, I was hoping for a bit more of a killing machine out of Gunther.
Yeah, and then, the weird show respect at the end, I don't know.
That was weird.
I did not like anything about this. What do you do with Gunther from here? He's lost his last 2 WrestleManias. He lost pretty concisively to Jay and Sammy. He barely scraped past Pat McAfee. I don't know. I don't really get what they're doing with Gunther. I don't see the vision. I don't see the story. I feel like if you felt like you wanted to do the story and you felt like you needed a competitive match, you have 3 actual wrestlers as commentators between Barrett, Corey Graves, and Booker T. You could have done this with any single one of them. So it's just a weird choice to pick the one guy who's not a wrestler. And frankly, he's kind of a goofball, and he's had some good matches, and him and Adam Cole was wonderful. That was a great match. But yeah, there was just nothing about this match. And I do think this affected the way I felt about the main event, because I was so when you see a match on some of these cards, it just totally, and you hate it a lot, it affects the rest of the night.
Takes the win from yourselves.
Yeah, right. And I feel like I already kind of felt like they were doing some weird damage a little bit with Gunther, with the way they wrote the confidence thing with Damien Priest, and Damien Priest getting into his head, and I didn't mind him losing to Cody, but I hate how he lost to Cody. And
good point.
I don't know. It's just Gunther should be so dominant. Even in his losses, people should be barely surviving,
So who can say that to him? Because I think his next story, and I beat this horse a little dead. Who can walk up to him and tell him that?
Tell who what?
Gunther, what happened to you? You should be killing machine. you should be barely making it past McAfee.
Are you thinking Kaiser?
I am thinking Kaiser. I want this feud so bad.
They haven't even had Kaiser on TV.
I know. Where is he?
And frankly, I feel like Gunther barely beating Kaiser doesn't make him look any better. Who the fuck does Kaiser beat? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
So, like, that's like lower tier mid card guy. You should kill him. You know? So, like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do with him. Like, what? You're going to put him in Money in the Bank? He's not going to win. Like, I try to look at everything as we've talked about with all three of the last matches. We got Solo, Jacob, SummerSlam. Bayley, Becky, SummerSlam. Finn, Dom, SummerSlam. Maybe some sort of 6-man tag between Luchadors and American Made. Lyra, feuding with some up-and-coming person. Maybe Priest LA Knight.
Yeah.
I literally can't see anything for Gunther. I'm like, I don't see what's there. Rematch with Jay?
No, please no.
Right,
please no.
So yeah, there's just literally nothing about this match I enjoyed. I hated the match. I really hated the ending. McAfee got too much. Cole even got too much considering. And frankly, kind of maybe Barrett looked pathetic because he's just sitting there as Gunther has Cole by the neck. And yeah, there was. I just don't get it. I don't see the vision. I don't see where they're going with this, and it's confusing of why they would go this way. And I get trying to build character, but LA Knight's shown that not everybody needs in-depth character. You know what I'm saying? LA Knight's a white wall.
Oh my god.
When it comes to character, oh my god, dude hasn't changed since 2006. He talks about beating people's keezers and shit. I don't know, just let Gunther be a killing machine.
Yep.
Let him be scary. Let people be scared to face Gunther. They ain't scared.
That's the danger of being champion for 80% of his run in WWE. It's got to go downhill somewhere, and it's this weird treacherous zone. It's going to be very interesting to see how they navigate it.
Right, but it's more just the decisions they made because I don't remember how you felt. But Sammy was such the wrong guy to take the IC title off him. That was such a bad choice. And we saw from what happened next, that was the bad choice. Sammy did literally jack crap with that belt. Having Jay choke him out to win the title was such a bad choice. Having Cody win with a wrestling roll-up, bad choice.
Yep.
So it's these continuation of bad choices that is what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know if you've looked down at your phone at all. We got some breaking wrestling news.
Not that anyone sent me.
We have lost another one.
Cool.
Right. Mike Johnson, PW Insider, I think, put out there that Sabu has passed away.
No way.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Yep. So.
Damn. Oh, yeah, right there.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Dude was a warrior.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't much of an ECW guy, but, he had his style, that's for sure. He had his fans, that's for sure. So.
Dreamer's going to be devastated on Busted Open.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Man, I loved watching him throw chairs at people's heads. That brings me great joy.
Yeah, I am a fan of throwing chairs at people's heads.
Man, watching him go. He put Cena through a table. I remember he leaped what looked like forever to put Cena through a table.
Yeah.
Damn, man, that stinks. Rest in peace, Sabu.
Probably Bubba, too. I'm busted open.
Oh, yeah, man. That's going to be a rough show tomorrow. Yeah. I think all 3 of them are on Mondays. That's going to be brutal.
Yep.
10-bell salute tomorrow.
Yep. Rest in peace, Sabu, and to his family. Wow. As we go into this main event.
Yeah, this was a bummer. We get Orton and Cena for the Undisputed Championship.
Now, I will say, before you get into this, I do think I probably like this match better than you, which is funny considering the differences of opinion in the last match. But go ahead. Yeah. I want you to... Or I will. Wait, you did the last one, right?
I did.
Okay.
This is a lot, though. We can split this into 2 if you want. There's a lot here.
So, let's talk about the positives. I really thought that there were some real positives in this match. I like the storytelling. I like the back and forth nature. I really wish Cena would have hit Orton with an RKO, since Orton hit him with 2 AAs.
Dude, yeah.
I was waiting for the Cena to hit Randy with an RKO. I thought that would have been hilarious. So the match, again, we'll talk about the whole thing, but essentially by the ref we get like 3 ref knockdowns, producers coming out, Truth comes out, but at the end of the day, Cena low blows Orton, hits him in the head with the championship, ref counts 1, 2, 3, John Cena still your WWE champion, which I figure we all kind of knew and understood. There's so much in this match. First off, what did you dislike about the match?
I feel like watching how Cena won at Mania and the fear I had going into the match and then seeing it. We're just going to get this same dusty finish over and over and over and over. And it just makes me like nervous for this reign because every single match is going to be the exact same way. Cena's not going to win any of these matches clean. He's going to low blow everyone. He's going to have someone come out and interfere. There's going to be 3 or 4 refs per match. It was a little overbooked for me, I think. Although I guess it's better than Randy just losing clean. It probably takes the sting out of that, but there was just a lot of ref stuff. And the R-Truth stuff, man. I never thought I would come on this show and say, fuck you, R-Truth, but there you go. Buy one, get one free. Fuck you, R-Truth. That shit sucked. So, I hope Randy kills him now. If Randy doesn't kill R-Truth on SmackDown, what are we doing?
The rumor is that Saturday night's main event is going to be Cena versus Truth. Did you see what happened at the post show?
No, I literally just finished right before we hopped on.
So Cena, I didn't watch it, so I only saw clips, but essentially Cena comes out, he kind of interrupts Triple H, and then I don't know if he talks a little or what, but Truth ends up coming out, tries to talk to Cena about what happened, and Cena AAs him through the table.
Really?
Yeah, and takes Truth out completely. So,
well, I hope Randy kills him before he gets there.
Or afterwards, yeah. If I was Randy.
And if he doesn't, he better be the first person that gets the punt, man.
Yeah, no shit.
Orton has to kill Truth now.
Here's my second question. After seeing the reaction around WrestleMania weekend, right? There's no way they have Orton again RKO all this without a plan, right? Like...
Yeah, so this is 3.
Because I felt like, okay, they didn't understand how people were going to feel about it going into Mania. They made their choice with Joe Hendry. They were never going to do all this. They were just going to drop that, move on, bing, bang, boom, everything's fine, you know? And I was fine with that. Like, okay, I get it. For whatever reason, they're not interested in all this wrestling. The very next pay-per-view, Randy's RKO and him in the main event again.
Yep.
I feel like now we're moving towards something.
Yeah, 3 is not a coincidence.
No. Especially with this time, yeah. Like I said, like I could see them doing the 2, not understanding what the reaction was going to be, and then being like, all right, well, we'll just drop this, move on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, going into another one, there's no way that was unintentional.
Yep.
Yeah, he RKO'd everybody, but there was a little stank in all this one.
Oh, a little stank.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think that was the one part of the match I did like. All the producers and all this come down after the second ref bump. So second ref comes in. Cena kicks out because the ref doesn't get there in time. Randy goes nuclear. He starts hearing voices, and he drops all this and all 4 of the producers that came out.
Yep.
That was awesome. That was a little nostalgic. I remember there was a period of time, man, I want to say late 2000s, but maybe it was into the teens. I know I talk about this every once in a while, but that one thing that you know you're going to get on Raw and you look forward to it because you know it's going to be in there. Randy was hitting 3 RKOs a night for a period of time, and you're always curious who's going to eat those 3.
Right.
And those were good times.
Yeah. Randy's the dude. This match, here's the thing. This match was not as bad as Cena and Cody.
As Cena and Cody, you're starting to break up a little bit.
Yeah, this match was not as bad as Cena and Cody. It had definitely.
I will agree with that.
It definitely had its faults, but it wasn't terrible.
I think it was much better than Cena Cody.
Right, and everybody. Here's the thing. I'm a Cody fan. I love Cody, but I find it surprising how everybody has completely dumped the end of the Cody Cena match on Cena. Because Cody has a little Charlotte in him. If something's going his way he doesn't like, he does sandbag it a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh.
And I'm just saying that, like, I feel like out of the 2, who is probably more to blame about a match when something's not going their way and the match ends up being bad?
You're cutting out a ton.
Oh, man.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But who is more to blame when something's not going right, you're saying?
Yeah.
Did you mean between the Cena and Cody match?
Right.
Cody's got to lead that match.
100%.
Yeah.
Cena
that match was rough.
Cena is always the yes man. You know, he does what he's told. So, like, to me, if something, like, went wrong in there, it's probably a Cody thing. Yeah.
This was a much better match, though. A lot of great reversals. Like you said, Cody hit Randy hit a couple of AAs, one of which was through a table on the outside. Kind of a funny moment in the middle. After the AA through the table, Randy takes the Prime bottle and drinks it, and then he's like, this is disgusting. That cracked me up. I'm very excited to see. It looks like, as you said, Randy and all this, there's definitely going to be something going on there. I just hope he kills R-Truth first. Yeah. Kind of a bummer end to a solid show. It was a good match. I know that I'm going to be miserable for the next 7 months about this fucking title reign.
Right.
And it is what it is. It reminds me of when The Rock came back and took the title from Punk. I was just like, I hate this, but I know it's going to be over with. You know, it's not going to last forever.
Right.
Because I hated that. I hated that so much.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
I really hated that.
Yeah, I feel like overall the pay-per-view was decent. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. It had its ups, its downs. Unfortunately, most of the downs were towards the main event, the last 2 matches. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see where we go from here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, let us know about how you felt about Backlash. Um, we are on to Saturday night's main event, and then on to Money in the Bank.
Money in the Bank. I can't believe that's so soon.
So give us your like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell. Give us some comments. Tell us how you felt about Backlash. The more comments, the merrier. We respond. We communicate with people in the comments. And we keep building up this channel. We'll eventually be able to do these live to where people can talk to us during the show. But yeah, man, do you have any closing thoughts about Backlash?
B minus. B minus. Yeah. Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. Those are my thoughts.
Happy Mother's Day. Yeah. I feel like this was a very Daniel Bryan pay-per-view. B+.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
Damn.
Ooh,
wow.
Damn. Yeah. That's right. Happy Mother's Day. And, yeah, man. What a decent show. I mean, that's the best word for it. Decent.
Yep.
And yeah, man. So we'll see everybody Tuesday for your Monday Night Raw review. So until then, we will talk to everyone later. Enjoy your wrestling and peace.